Good morning. This is the video lesson for page 17 of the yellow book. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what to do. This is a little bit more on punctuation, determining if we need to use a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point to show the correct ending to the sentence based on the type of sentence it is. So if it's an exclamation with strong feeling, we need to make sure it has an exclamation point. If it's a statement, an opinion, or a fact or a command, we're going to go ahead and put a period. And if it's a question, we're going to go ahead and put a question mark at the end. So this page is called The Fox and the Crow. It says read the sentences, add a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point to each one. Crow perched on a tree branch with some cheese in her mouth. Do we need a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point? Crow perched on a tree branch with some cheese in her mouth. That is a statement. Because it's a statement, we're going to go ahead and put a period at the end. It's not an exclamation. It's not a question. Fox wanted the cheese for himself. Is that something we could read with strong feeling, as a statement, or as a question? Well, honestly, you could put a period at the end, but I think an exclamation point would be well as well. So you can put a period or an exclamation point. I think that an exclamation point is best, because it is a sentence that you can go ahead and read with strong feeling. Oops, that's the wrong spot, Miss Fisher. So period or an exclamation point, either one would be correct. Hopefully that needs an exclamation point. How lovely you look with those fine feathers. Is that a statement, a question, or an exclamation? It is an exclamation, so I made a good mistake. I'm fine. Yay! So you could read number 2, Fox wanted the cheese for himself, with a period or an exclamation. It depends what you think and how you feel. Either one is correct. For this third one, it kind of sounds like it's going to start with a question. How is a question word, but we're just stating, we're making a statement with a lot of strong feeling. How lovely you look with those fine feathers. So remember, we're talking about a crow and a fox. So the fox is using strong feeling because he's interested in that crow. Will you treat me to a beautiful song? Is that an exclamation, a statement, or a question? So that one is a question. Will you treat me to a beautiful song? Question. Open your mouth wide and sing. Is that a statement, a question, or an exclamation? So this one's needs a period because it's actually a command. Open your mouth and sing. So he's telling the crow to sing. All right, so this next one, it says read the sentence pairs, join the sentences to make a compound sentence, use and, but, or, and add a comma before it. Remember, when we use our conjunctions to make a compound sentence, we always need to add a comma. We need more punctuation because we basically took 2 sentences and made it one. So we can't just take away the punctuation, the period that would have been there before. We need to add the punctuation back. And in this case, we're adding a comma as the punctuation to replace. So Crow opened her mouth to sing. The cheese fell to the ground. So here we have 2 sentences. We're going to combine in this area. What is the conjunction we could use to combine these 2 sentences? And, but, or. Crow opened her mouth and the cheese fell, but the cheese fell, or the cheese fell. And. So the word is and that we want to use. And the cheese fell. She opened her mouth and the consequence was the cheese fell. Sneaky little fox. So here we need to put a comma. So the period is going to become a comma. We're going to insert the word and. And the next thing we need to do is change some capitalization there. That capital T now needs to become a lowercase t because it's no longer the beginning of a sentence. It is now the middle of a sentence. So it's a lowercase t, the. So Crow opened her mouth. To sing, comma, and the cheese fell to the ground, period. And that is the first one. The next one we see two questions, so we're going to have to be thinking about how that will affect this and what makes sense in a question, and we want to make sure it flows well. Was Fox kind? Was he tricky? So we've used and, so we have but or. So was Fox kind, but was he tricky? Was Fox kind, or was he tricky? Are we comparing or providing a reason against? So we're comparing, so we're going to use or. Was he kind, or was he tricky? We're saying, okay, was it kind of him to get the crow to drop the cheese, or was it tricky of him to get the crow to sing so that the crow dropped the cheese? Well, we know the answer is the fox was being tricky, but we need to go ahead and put or in here. So this question mark has to go. We're going to go ahead and insert a comma here. I'm going to use my caret so I don't forget. And the word we want to use is or. I'm going to do an upside down caret here so I can squeeze that in. I don't have enough space. And that W now needs to be a lowercase w. So put the line through it so I can put a lowercase w above. So reminded, hey, don't forget that now needs to be a lowercase w instead of a capital W. Then I'm going to go ahead and write, was Fox kind, comma, or was, with a lowercase w, he tricky? Question mark at the end. Making it a compound sentence did not change the type of sentence it is a question, and it needs to continue to have a question mark. Next one says, Crow was smart, Fox fooled her. And the last one we haven't used is but let's make sure that it's correct and sounds correct before we just write the sentence, because otherwise we may have wrote it down and then it doesn't make sense and we didn't know that we needed to correct it. So let's read it with a but just in case. Crow was smart, but Fox fooled her. Does that make sense? Yes. We are saying that Crow was smart, but the fox had fooled her. We have a fact, and we're giving it a contradicting fact. So the but he fooled her. So we need to go ahead and turn that period into a comma. So I'm going to go ahead and use my caret as a reminder. Insert the word but. So I'm going to add another caret up high this time. And then that fox, because it's capitalized the other part, it's the fox's name is basically Fox. We're going to leave that capital. We do not need to make it a lowercase f because it is a capital F elsewhere. All right, so now that I'm done with that, I am going to go ahead and rewrite it on the line. Crow was smart, comma, but Fox fooled her, period at the end. And that is how to finish section B. This next part for section C, it says write one sentence to tell the lesson that Crow learned. So you need to make one sentence yourself about what you think Crow learned from the fox tricking her. Remember, the fox convinced the crow to sing, to drop the cheese. What could Crow have learned from this lesson? Anything you think Crow may have learned from this lesson about the fox? I can't wait to see what you guys write up on this, and let me know what you learned or you think the crow should have learned in that sentence. All right, thanks, guys.